Here's how much money you need if you want to spend $5,000 a month every single month at a minimum throughout retirement. It's about $1.3 to $1.5 million. Now that's the answer because that's the case study that I'm going to show you today of a client of mine. Now there are some concerns I have, and those concerns are based on how much do you want to leave to your children? If you want to leave $2 million instead of, zero, well, yeah, you're probably going to want to work longer or spend less. If you're like, no, I just want to leave them the home. I want to spend everything I've worked so hard for. Well, then great. Like you might be able to spend more than $5,000 a month. So I'm going to show you how to think about it so that if you're in the position wondering, hey, how much do I have and is it enough? You'll have total clarity. You can, of course, play around with the tool that I'm going to show you. Just look in the description of this episode. Now, this is not my traditional episode where I've got my amazing editor putting out the beautiful graphics and I point like this, and it always feels weird as a YouTube guy where I'll be like, look here, and like I know nothing's going to be there. But this is not edited. This is just raw. There's no cuts, meaning it's all one take. And I just want to show you guys in a super laid back, fun way. Here's how I do planning. So if you resonate with this style, I invite you to subscribe because I love getting to do this and helping people grow and make sure they retire early. When I said grow, it sounded like grow as people, mainly grow portfolios, but hopefully grow portfolios so that they can quit their job and do what they really want to do, which is time with family and friends and travel and all that good stuff. So if you're like me and love your job, then awesome. Most of my clients that I say you can retire early, not most, maybe 60% of them, which would you say 60% is most? I wouldn't. I'd probably say like 80% is most. Anyways, 60%, they're like, cool. So I'm in a spot where I don't need to work ever again, but I kind of like what I do. So I thought I had to be here and I thought I didn't love my job, but that's just financially. I thought I had to be here. The fact that I'm working because I want to, I'm going to take less responsibility. I'm going to do more projects that I care about. I'm going to take off Fridays. And if they tell me I'm fired, I don't care because I actually am in a position to walk away. Like, I just want you guys to have the freedom to be able to do what you want to do. So let's hop in. This is always for educational, fun, informative purposes only. Have to put this on my screen. If compliance, you're watching, you're very welcome. They will laugh when they see this. Obviously, this is what I'm going to show you today. There's going to be Monte Carlo. It's probability of success. I'm using a real financial plan. No past rates of return are among the assumptions used in the simulation, and it does not guarantee future performance. It also might not apply to your situation and is not necessarily representative of the experience of other clients. For example, I have clients with $50 million and clients with $500,000. They both have two very different financial plans. So here's the couple. Now, one big disclaimer. This is a couple we work with, and they are planning, always feels weird to say that, and they are planning on inheritance, not like hoping, okay? They're not hoping their parents die. They're like, look, it's very likely this is going to occur because they're not in good health, and we've already discussed it with them, so they're not like bad, evil people, okay? But the one concern I have with their plan, and I've shared this with them, right now, their traditional 401k has $1.2 million. It's all Apple. Now, my concern with that is if Apple doesn't do well, now all of a sudden their whole plan is upside down. So you never want one stock to dictate whether or not you get to retire. But inheritance is very likely to come. And because of that, they're like, look, it's done really well for us. The rest of our portfolio is fully diversified. And we have a plan so that they're really fortunate in this way. Imagine this was all in a brokerage account and it had a lot of big gains, meaning they bought it for $100,000 and now it's worth 1.2. It'd be really hard to sell that because there's huge taxes you'd pay. The difference is here, Apple and their 401k, that they can just sell that. They don't have to worry about tax implications and they can diversify. So when they eventually do retire, they're like, we're open to diversifying. It's just we kind of have not a cookie cutter situation here because of inheritance and other stuff going on. The point here is this couple first wanted to spend $5,000 a month. So I'm going to show you guys the same thing that I showed them. So $1.6 million, that is their current home. And then this is their mortgage, $413,000. This actually, I believe this, they were telling me about some. Anyways, this, I want to say they recently moved. Anyways, I have thoughts as to things I want to discuss with them. So my brain does that a lot, in case you're wondering what just happened there. Going, did your brain just go wacky? A little bit. It does that a lot. I am a human. So you can see in terms of goals, $5,000 a month. They want to retire in 3 years. That was their goal. They have a couple of children, and $5,000 a month was initial goal. If I go to their plan here for a second, you're going to see it looks like this. So what this means is here we are, 62, $1.5 million bucks, and they're on track to pass away with $2.5 million at age 92. That's assuming they spend $5,000 a month forever. So they're in a good spot. The thing is, $5,000 a month, $1.5 million. Let's look at it real simple. Imagine you have $1.5 million, and let's just say it's all in a 401k. You don't really have $1.5 million because you have to pay taxes and then live off of that money. So really, you might have 1.2 because after taxes, if you want to live off 106, I'm getting too excited. My words do that. My mouth does that. My mouth just got too excited and talked before my words. Follow me here. Okay, $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. They might need to sell 70 or 75,000 worth of something so they can pay taxes and end up with 68,000 a year after taxes, adjusted for inflation. So what I'm going to do, nothing fancy, just a calculator right here. I'm not scrolling on Instagram on you guys. What you're going to see right here is if I take 0.04, you can see I'm doing it with you, and I just want to know, okay, what would that be as a withdrawal rate on a $1.5 million portfolio? Well, that's $60,000 a year. So that's a 4% withdrawal rate. But there are studies that show if you're more intentional with your investing philosophy and which account you pull from, you can actually take anywhere from 5.2 to 5.6% of your portfolio, and you will not run out of money for 40 plus years. So what that means is they're really $78,000 a year, which is more than $60,000, an additional $18,000 that you could take every single year if you had a good withdrawal strategy, which means which account do you pull from and when. And so what this means is $5,000 a month, great. Like if that's all you want to spend in retirement, but you don't have $1.5 million, I would say you don't need $1.5 million. The point as to why I just showed you this is because some of you think you need $2 million to retire or $3 million, and you don't. The reality here, what you can do is do what I just did, but just do it backwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's just take $1.2 million. Let's see if this is in my screen here. 1.2 million, and we're going to do 0.052 together. So you can see that 62,400, that's how much you could spend if you had that amount of money. Use it real simple. If you had $1 million, what you could understand reasonably is that could generate $52,000 to $56,000 a year, and that would last for 40 years. That's assuming you have a good withdrawal strategy. So the point here is here's someone that's, I'd argue, in too good of a position. This is assuming they're going to work until 65 and they're 62 today. Maybe they're like, I don't want to work that long. What if they stop working right now and spend $5,000 a month? What you can see is they're still on track. I mean, not to maybe meet their legacy goals of $2 million to each child or $1 million to each child, but you still see there's $1 million in the proposed plan instead of the current plan. So here's my point. $5,000 a month, the big variable here, when people want to have a magic number, look, they still have a mortgage today. And so if you had no mortgage, well, that's going to change the plan. Let's assume this guy here, so Apple stock, that's 100% equities. So it's assuming 100% growth on that 401k. If we click the investment tab right here, and I know I'm moving myself all over. I apologize if you're getting dizzy. Investment account, we go to the 401k, it's all Apple. And I'm being extra conservative because this is how I do planning. I'm assuming 8.5% growth, meaning assuming if they had Apple forever, which they're not going to, they're going to diversify, they would get 8.5% growth. Between you and me, just so you know, they probably would do way better than that because the S&P 500 has done 10% as an average. So I'm putting a 1.5% discount on Apple compared to the S&P. So what that means is if I go back to the retirement tab, and when we diversify and they retire, let's just assume they want to retire at 65, hypothetical. Most of my clients don't want to wait that long. But if we say, you know, we're going to go diversify, we want more of a moderate portfolio. We have $1.5 million bucks. We want more of a moderate portfolio. What moderate means is that's about 7.8 to 8% growth. So I'm taking some growth off the top, but I diversified. And so now if Apple doesn't do well, they're still going to be fine. Yeah, there might be fewer dollars because we have more safe money, but we need more safe money. Because if not, what if Apple goes down and you have to sell at a loss? You don't want to do that. So the point here is ask yourself, okay, $5,000 a month. Is that me dreaming? Because right now they're spending $5 a month plus they have their mortgage. So really it's like $7,500 a month that they need. But they might go, you know what, we're going to pay off the mortgage. They might go, we're going to use our inheritance. And so that's what you can plan in here in a pretty cool way. So if you go in here to the software, you can add in all these cool things, weddings, goals, vacations. You can plan in a deeper way. And so if we go to, I think it's under other now. Yep, here it is. Inheritance, it's pretty cool. You can go and go, what if there's inheritance that's going to come? We're going to call it inheritance. Or, you know, I joke with my clients, you know what I call this? The Lucky Sperm and Egg Club. I know that's lame. I got that from a mentor, but it's cool. Sperm and, no, I'm not going to put that in there. You guys are going to get me in trouble. Inheritance. Okay. So I'm going to put, I believe it's 800,000. If I'm missing this and you're watching this because you're the client that I'm talking about, don't be mad at me. Okay. Inherited assets. Yes, there's rules around these different rules and how you take it. But for simplicity, because it is going to be a step up, they do not have to worry about that. But if you're wondering brokerage account wise, if you inherit money basically from a brokerage account, it gets a step up in basis, so you don't have to worry about taxes. If you inherit from an IRA, a ton of rules and things to know about. But you can see if they get this $800,000 this year of inheritance, yeah, it makes a big difference. Like now their plan's looking 4.6 million. So the idea here is, guys, you just got to go get inheritance. No, that's not the idea here. But if this couple was like, hey, we want to spend $8,000 a month instead of $5,000, great, they can do that. And there's still going to be plenty of money where they'll be okay. But that's largely because of the inheritance. If it turns out inheritance, for some of you, you might be like, look, there's $200,000 coming. Well, that's different. And so like, yeah, you need to plan around that. And for most people, you don't retire and then all of a sudden get inheritance. Like it doesn't work that way. But let's assume this inheritance came in 10 years from now. Okay, well, that makes a big difference because that's money that's not growing for you. You can see the little bump right here. This is when the inheritance comes in. And you can still see it certainly helped the plan. They're still on track for $1.6 million at the end instead of $2.5 million. But once again, they spent $8,000 a month instead of $5,000 a month. So if you need $5,000 a month, the real basic answer to this episode is if you had $1.5 million and it's in a diversified mix, look, you can certainly spend $5,000 a month. You're going to be in a fine spot. If you had $1 million and you wanted to spend $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year, I'd go, look, it's going to be pretty close, but if you have Social Security coming pretty soon, you're probably in a spot where close to making it happen. So you don't need 2 million. If you look up articles online, it'll say you need 2 million to retire, 3 million, 4 million. It depends how much you want to spend. I have clients that want to spend 50,000 a month. For those clients, yeah, this isn't going to cut it. But I definitely want to make sure that you guys know how to use this tool because it is powerful. And if you turn on Social Security earlier, obviously that takes less pressure off the portfolio, but then it interrupts a tax strategy. This is where planning gets complicated. So this is really for all of you out there that are going, hey, 5,000 a month, I could do that and then some, and I'm working with less than $2 million. Am I even in that position? I'm like, look, if you're in the $1 to $2 million boat, wondering if you need to keep working and 5,000 a month, excluding your mortgage, would allow you to live your dream life and travel, then like, look, you're in a good spot. You should probably consider retiring if you want to. Of course, if you love your work, keep working. I love my work. I don't plan on stopping. If you want to play around with this tool that I'm showing you, once again, it's available in the description, or you can just search Early Retirement Academy and that will come up. You can see I do not like the word fine. I prefer the word optimize. Some cool marketing for you guys right there. But that is true. My nickname at the company here, they will joke and they will call me Optimize. They're like, Ari, was your weekend optimized? Because some people be like, how was your weekend? They're like, it was fine. They're like, Ari's was optimized. So anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.